Good morning and welcome to Backyard and Beyond. This morning we have a guest, Shirley Ocker. Good morning to you, Shirley.
Good morning, Levon. Pleased to be here.
And we want to talk about a special show that's coming right up here on November 11th, correct?
Yes,
That's
this Thursday.
Yes, exactly.
Yes, Veterans Day.
Yes.
And it will be at the Heritage House in the Recreation Room here in Atlantic from 10 until 2. And we want you all to come and see what we've been doing.
The porcelain painters of Southwest Iowa,
Right,
basically.
porcelain painters. There are about 18 in our club. And there are some really great painters in there. I'm just kind of one of the learners, but I have a great
Shirley
time.
says that, but I know you've won some awards and so on, so I know you're right in there with all the rest of them. Now, we said Southwest Iowa. Kind of what area does it really cover? I mean, you have some from quite far away.
Yes, we do. All the way east of Council Bluffs, so Oakland and Avoca, and then all the way, I think 71 highway probably is the borderline on the east, and then we go down to Bedford on the south. So we carry Southwest Iowa pretty much.
Yeah.
And people come from Bedford, a lot of them.
That's quite a ways away. How often do you meet, Shirley?
We meet once a month at the Heritage House. So therefore we're having this little show thanking the Heritage House for giving us the opportunity to have our show out there. Mm-hmm. And we have fun doing it.
And if you're like me and don't know much about porcelain painting, we have a lot to learn and to see all these beautiful things and the ways that you can use your skills and your artistic abilities. Shirley, tell me, how do you do porcelain painting? What does it involve?
Okay, it involves a dry powdery paint that we mix with certain oils. And we paint on either china or porcelain tiles, and we fire them. We paint a very thin coat of paint, and then fire it. And you must remember, heat and oil will bubble. So we have to have a slow firing. We fire between 1400 and 43 degrees up to 2200 degrees. Variants in there, whatever colors we're using and so forth.
Okay, so heat affects the color. How big is a kiln? I mean, is this going to take up a room in your house?
No, not quite.
I'm sure all the paints and so on eventually could take up a room, but the kiln itself.
The kiln itself, I have a small one. I would say that I'm not very good at dimensions, but I would say it's probably 15 inches round. And deep is probably about the same. Mm-hmm. And mine is a digital one, just like your microwave is.
Oh.
So I set it all with how much time, how fast I want it to heat, to the temperature, how long it wants to hold, and then it shuts off.
Okay. I'm guessing those are some of the things you learn as you progress through, is about how long and how hot and what colors and all those kinds of things are part of the learning curve.
It is part of the learning curve, and also by air. You learn a lot by mistakes. And then, of course, you have to be very careful that you don't drop them,
Yes.
which I have done. And
Do they ever break in the kiln?
occasionally, very seldom, unless you have maybe an antique plate that had a little crack in it, hairline crack that you didn't know was there.
Okay.
And that
Where do you get your supplies?
We have a couple companies, Maryland China Company and the Wren China Company out in the East Coast. And that's one of our problems is we don't have, we have then postage to pay.
Yeah, kind of heavy stuff there,
Yeah,
too.
so that kind of, but we can buy plates like at some of the Walmart stores or dime
Bonison's?
stores,
Yeah.
Bonison's. I even have gone into the, what do you call them? Where you
Like Salvation Army?
or Goodwill or whatever.
Yeah.
and
Oh,
go
okay.
through. Yeah, I always start on a plain plate that just has no design. Mm-hmm. Plain white usually, or beige or whatever. And I just decide what I'm going to do.
Decide what you're going to. Do you use patterns? Do other people use patterns, or is this all kind of freehand?
Well, we use patterns. We use pictures. I use pictures. I love to paint animals. And I feel like you've got to see the animal or the birds or whatever. And so I use a lot of pictures, but patterns are fine. Many people use patterns, and lots of people do lots of flowers. And so whatever, it's your taste and your desire and your talent, whatever you want to do. I do lots of pictures. Been painting fall scenes.
And do you put those on plates or do you put them on something else?
You can put them on plates, but I put them on something else like a tile.
Okay.
And a large tile. You can buy all kinds of tiles.
So you could tile your wall with a special scene by Shirley Ocker.
You could. And you can make little tiles that fit together behind your stove. You can paint those. I've done certain things like that.
Okay, so plates, tiles, what other kinds of things do people paint on?
They paint. I have done some large vases or vases, whatever you want to call them. And I have that. We will be showing those things so come to the show and we'll show you what we do.
Yeah, that's the answer to the question, is come to the show and see all this variety of things. Shirley, when did you get started? How did you get started?
Well, I moved here to Atlantic on the farm in a new area for me. And we built a house and we got it finished and I painted the inside. And so I said, well, okay, now what? And my mother had been a porcelain painter.
Okay, so this is sort of handed down. That's
right.
Pretty neat.
And so she had been up at Walnut, taking lessons at Clara Martin's. Anybody around here knows of Clara Martin. My mother painted 3 sets of place settings of 12 for all 3 of her daughters.
My goodness.
1 year.
Oh my goodness!
I don't know how she did.
Busy lady.
I don't know how she
did. She paid attention to what she was doing, and she had a goal to get that done.
She did.
So, mentioning your mother, what about you? Have a couple of daughters. How are they connected to your porcelain painting?
Well, the one I was teaching some porcelain painting in Florida, and when she was there, she did some painting, and she's good, and if she'll just stick with it, but she probably won't until after I'm.
Well, until maybe she's probably still really busy with a lot of other things. And so just like you, maybe she's waiting for that time.
Right. I think so. She was just over the other day and she was looking at some of the things she's redecorating. So she's looking for some plates that will be hanging on the wall. So there we go.
So Mom just said, take them.
Take what you want.
I'm guessing it's like a lot of hobbies. It's pretty easy to collect those finished products, and then pretty soon you do need that whole room to store them.
Right, it is, but it's fun, and I try to give as much away as I can, and that's fun.
Good.
And our other daughter could also be doing this, but she's busy. But she came home from a trip over in Paris, France, with 2 large Limoges bowls that were all white. And she said, Mom, I brought something for you to do.
What a nice challenge.
It was. It was a great challenge because Limoges is just wonderful. And I had a great time doing it. And I will be showing one of those at the show. So come and see.
Wonderful. And now that just prompts another question for me. Does it make much difference what you start with? I mean, you said you can go to Salvation Army and get a plain white plate. Now you have Limoges from Paris, France. Does that make a difference in how you paint and what the results are?
Yes, it does. It really does, LaVon. But anything is fine. And when you're working on something that you love to do, it's fine.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I can tell, Shirley, that you're very enthusiastic, that you have a great time doing this, and you do want to share it with folks. So remind us again when people can come to the Porcelain Painters Art Show.
They can come Thursday morning from 10 o'clock, and we are open until 2 in the Recreation Room, the Heritage House in Atlantic. And we'll just be pleased to see you. Oh, yes, and we have door prizes. We all are giving little pieces away so that you may win something.
Great. And there's no fee. It's free.
No fee. It's free.
Great.
And the Heritage House is so great to let us use their facilities.
Okay, great. Well, we need to go and appreciate all the skills and artistic talents of all those folks. We want to thank you very much, Shirley Ocker, for coming in to visit with us.
Thank you.
Until next time, here's the thought. Take time to laugh. It's the music of the soul.